Good evening, and welcome to Neutral News, the program that observes the relentless churn of the digital world and responds with a profound sense of, oh, this again. Tonight, we have a story of staggering pervasiveness, a digital phenomenon that has embedded itself into the very fabric of the internet with the tenacity of a barnacle on the hull of a global freighter. We are speaking, of course, of the seemingly compulsory mention of NordVPN. We go now to our correspondent Susan, who has been tirelessly navigating the pop-up infested waters of this story. Susan.
Neil, an extensive survey of the digital landscape in 2025 has confirmed that it is now functionally impossible to consume online content for more than 7 consecutive minutes without encountering a promotional reference to the virtual private network provider NordVPN. The references appear in videos, articles, podcasts, and, we believe, are being subliminally embedded into the dreams of heavy internet users.
So, to be clear, Susan, this isn't merely a popular product. This is approaching a fundamental law of digital physics, like a digital form of gravity. It just is. Has there been any investigation into the epicenter of this marketing earthquake? Is there a single subterranean volcano of sponsorship from which all this lava flows?
The epicenter is everywhere, Neil. It is a decentralized, almost atmospheric promotional pressure. Our analysis suggests that a complex algorithm identifies any creator with a quarter-decent microphone and a subscriber count exceeding that of a village knitting circle. An author is then dispatched, seemingly by digital carrier pigeon, presenting a pre-written script and a sum of money that is invariably non-trivial.
A non-trivial sum, the sort of sum that makes one forget one's previous strongly held opinions on, for example, organic, unsponsored content. But what of the promotion itself? Is there a pattern, a formula to these endorsements?
There is a rigorously enforced formula, Neil. It typically begins with a jarringly unnatural segue. A creator might be discussing ancient Roman pottery and will then say, "Speaking of things that have been dug up, have you dug up the best deals on the internet?" This is followed by a breathlessly enthusiastic reading of the key benefits, often by a person who, moments before, was displaying all the emotional range of a garden shed. The segment invariably concludes with a unique discount code, often the creator's name followed by the number 10, and a call to action imbued with a false sense of urgency, suggesting that the internet will simply cease to exist if one does not subscribe immediately.
A form of hostage negotiation, then. Sign up, or the nice man talking about pottery gets it. Now, before we get to the supposed benefits, the name itself, Nord. It sounds so chilly, so evocative of windswept fjords and men with magnificent beards. Is there a genuine connection to the Nordic regions? Are my data packets being personally escorted across the internet by tiny digital Vikings?
The company's origins are in Lithuania, which is geographically Baltic, not strictly Nordic. The branding appears to be an exercise in associative marketing, leveraging the general public's perception that Scandinavia is a place of efficiency, minimalism, and excellent cheekbones. There is no evidence, Neil, of any actual Vikings, digital or otherwise, being involved in the encryption process.
A missed opportunity, I'd say. So, having established it's not run by Vikings and is promoted via a script as rigid as a piece of IKEA flat-pack furniture, what exactly is this service?
NordVPN is a virtual private network. In layman's terms, it allows a user to pretend they are in a different geographical location. For example, one could be sitting in a damp bedsit in Dudley, while their internet connection confidently asserts it is in fact sunning itself in San Diego. It is a tool for digital escapism.
So, for a monthly fee, one can purchase a brief holiday from oneself. A fascinating proposition. It's less of a virtual private network and more of a virtual witness protection program. What are the primary reasons cited for requiring such a digital disguise?
The reasons provided in the ubiquitous sponsorship segments are threefold, Neil. Firstly, to access streaming services catalogs from other countries. Secondly, to enhance one's online security, protecting valuable data from what are termed nefarious actors. And thirdly, a vague and slightly threatening allusion to online privacy in general.
Let's dissect these, shall we? The first, accessing foreign television. Is it not the case that these streaming services are actively trying to prevent this very practice? Is it not a constant digital arms race where one pays for a service to circumvent a service one is also paying for?
That is an accurate description of the dynamic, Neil. It is a state of perpetual low-stakes digital warfare. The user is effectively paying a third party to engage in minor mischief on their behalf. The experience can often involve significant buffering, as your data is routed via Omaha, Nebraska, to watch a game show that is fundamentally identical to one filmed in Salford.
Marvelous. And what of these nefarious actors? It sounds so dramatic. Are we talking about villains in cloaks with twirly mustaches attempting to steal my secret scone recipe?
The term is intentionally broad, Neil. In reality, the most likely nefarious actor is not a master hacker, but the automated advertising network of a major tech company, or perhaps a bored barista using the unsecured Wi-Fi in their coffee shop to try and guess your social media password. The service protects you from threats that range from the potentially catastrophic to the profoundly mundane.
So it's a digital scarecrow designed to frighten off both birds of prey and the occasional curious pigeon. And this brings us to the third point, the nebulous concept of online privacy. Is there not a central irony in giving all of one's internet data to a single company in the name of privacy?
The irony has been noted by industry analysts, Neil. It is akin to hiring a security guard to watch your house and giving him the only key, a list of your valuables, and your work schedule. One must place an extraordinary amount of trust in the guard. The companies assert that they keep no logs of user activity, a claim which is, by its very nature, difficult to independently verify.
Of course. So you're hiding from everyone by standing very visibly behind one large Lithuanian bush. Now, Susan, let's talk about the cost. How does the price of this digital comfort blanket compare to more tangible goods?
A typical annual subscription, Neil, costs approximately the same as 75 liters of petrol, 2.5 new hardback books, or a moderately successful night out at a provincial 10-pin bowling alley, including shoe rental.
So one must choose between protecting their online identity or the simple pleasure of throwing a heavy ball at some wooden pins. It's a true modern dilemma. Finally, Susan, where does all this end? Are we on the cusp of a future where every household appliance will be hawking VPNs? Will my toaster refuse to brown my bread until I've secured my network?
The trajectory suggests a future of total market saturation, Neil. We are already seeing the emergence of VPN for your smart fridge services. The logical endpoint is a world where one requires a VPN to operate one's other VPNs, creating an infinite recursive loop of subscription fees and perceived security.
A digital Ouroboros eating its own tail for a monthly fee. So, to summarize, for the cost of a round of bowling, one can engage in a pointless battle with a streaming giant, hide one's browse habits from the barista, and entrust one's entire digital life to a company named after a region it is not in. It is a solution of remarkable ingenuity to a problem of questionable significance. The true victory, it seems, is not for the consumer, but for the marketing department. I think it's fair to say this story is virtually over. Good night.